this quick, I guess. So, first things first, we gotta notice that this says Waltz 3-4 area. So that means that we gotta make sure that our time signature is gonna be in 3-4. So we go to options, we go to general settings, we go to project, we go to the place where it says time settings down in the middle of the window. Change the numerator to 3-4, okay. Now, when we open our instruments from the channel rack here, hold on, here's the channel rack, right? You click this button to get the channel rack, that's where your instruments are. You can add an instrument by pressing the plus button. I've already made some instruments. Here's a lead instrument that sounds like this. Here's some chords instrument that sounds like this. And here's the bass. And here's the drums. Okay, so I'm just gonna right click the lead instrument, click piano roll, so that the piano roll opens, and here it is, okay? So I'm just gonna read from the lead sheet here. It says, okay, first of all, I'm gonna read the dots, okay? It says the key signature is in D major. You can tell that it's D major because it's got F sharps and C sharps in the key signature here, okay? Like that's F sharps, that's C sharps, and if you go up a half step from the last sharp you see, that's the key that you're in. Unless it's in a minor key, then forget about it. Here's the thing, D major, okay? That means most of the chords are gonna revolve around the tonic of D, you know? And some of the chords are chromatic, I guess. They're not in the key normally, but I'm not gonna discuss that right now. I'm just gonna copy the melody notes, okay, into my lead instrument. So, remember, this is E because if you know how to read a treble clef, this tells you G, like if you circle around here, like it tells you that this line that I'm like hovering over, that's where G is, okay? And if you go up from the line, the alphabet goes forward. If you go downwards, it goes backwards. So this is G, A, B, C, D, E. The first note is an E, and it lasts for 3 beats because this is a dotted half note, okay? I'm not going to explain how dotted half notes work right now. Maybe I should. Maybe I should, though. Okay, so you know how I have this... let's just write the notes, okay? I'm gonna assume that you already know how to read all this stuff. So here, E, E. Sorry, let's go back. So here's C5, right? This is middle C in FL Studio. Normally, C4 is middle C, but this is C, middle C, okay? And this E right here is the E that is above this C. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna put the note. It's gonna last 3 beats. And then I'm gonna go to the next measure, and it's going to be F sharp, and I'm going to go to the next measure, it's going to be G, and then the next measure is A, and then I'm going to do the same thing again, because the same thing happens again on the graph. That's E, F sharp, G, A, E, F sharp, G, A, okay? So I'm going to select all this, and duplicate it, okay? And then, whoopsies, I forgot to show my button presses. Where are those at? One sec. Where did those go? This is not the right one. That's why. Hold on. One moment. Oops. Okay. One sec. One sec. Where's like FL Studios at? This is not it, dude. Technical difficulties. Just one moment, please. Gotta rearrange my windows so that they are visible, please. Here we go. Okay. There's that, and then where's my inputs, dude? I had downloaded this thing to show my inputs, but now it's not showing it up at all. What's going on? What the heck? Alright. Let's forget about that for now. Continuing. Okay, we're at here. This window right here, okay? This is going F sharp, A, F sharp, okay? So let's see, gotta zoom in. It's going F sharp, A, sharp, A, F sharp, C sharp, and then E, E, D, A sharp. So next measure, C sharp, B, E, and they're all quarter notes, so C sharp, wait, what? C sharp, B, E, C sharp, B, D is what I said, C sharp, B, D. Next measure is just a long E, okay, 3 beats long, it's a dotted quarter note, or sorry, dotted half note. Next measure is D, C sharp, G, so C sharp, G. Same thing again, D, C sharp, G. Yeah, I'm clicking every individual note in because maybe this workflow is not the best, but anyway, B, F natural, B, and A for 3 beats, and then the next phrase happens. I'm just gonna do this all in one go, all in one like little window. It's gonna be very hard to find where I'm trying to go on to next, but this is fine. It's fine. This is one way to do it. We'll see. So F sharp, F sharp, A, F sharp again, C sharp, and then E, D, A sharp. Whoops. E quarter note, D dotted quarter note, A sharp, 8th note, and then it's going B, D, A, D, A, F sharp, what, wait, no, where am I doing, oh yeah, A, G, right, then G, F sharp, A, F sharp, E, C sharp, D, what? Yeah, okay. And that's for 6 beats because it's 2 dotted half notes tied to each other. Alright, so here's what it sounds like from here to here, okay? Let's see how that sounds. Okay, let's make sure the tempo is actually correct. It's supposed to be 180, so I'm going up here and turning it to 180, and this should be how it sounds with just the melody notes. Okay, so yeah, then this part repeats because there's a repeat sign, so it's going from here to here again, so I gotta find that again. It's from measure 9 to, whoa, what the, okay, I've never seen that happen. I'm just trying to select this, but it's like so difficult when it's so tiny, but I have to keep it tiny so that it fits on one screen, man. So let's see, zoom in, control click, right here, drag to the end here, and then control D to duplicate that exactly on the end of where I highlighted it, so now it repeats. And maybe I should use different patterns and stuff to make this organization a little easier, but I won't. I'm gonna overcomplicate it by keeping it simple, okay? Let's see. We're at B, so here's what a thing that you can do to make things a little more organized. So I can write, if I click here, just left click on the numbers here, and I click on the little arrow on the top left, and it's going to do a drop down that you can't see because OBS captures things weirdly. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to go time markers, add one, I'm gonna say intro. Okay, I'm just gonna say intro, and then I'm gonna go to the next part where we have a rehearsal mark. So here, it's at measure 9, and we're just gonna click right at the beginning of measure 9, click on the little triangle, go to time markers, add 1, and I'm gonna say rehearsal A, and then I'm gonna go to the part where I repeated it, and it's gonna go, I think, right here at measure 25, I think, yeah, that's where I repeated it. I'm gonna add another time marker, by clicking the little triangle on the left of the piano roll, time markers, add 1, rehearsal A, repeat, okay, and then I'm gonna go to the end of this, at measure 41, add another marker by going to the top left corner of a little triangle in the piano roll window, and going time markers, add 1, and typing rehearsal B. I'm gonna keep going, add these notes here, from here to the end, I guess, no, or from here to rehearsal C. So it's going, we ended up on this high D, so the next note's down below this, it's on A, it's going A, D, E, and then it's the next one, A, E, C sharp, and then A for 3 beats, because it's a dotted half note, and then low D for 3 beats also, and then we're going to A, D, E, A, E, C sharp, A, D, E, A, E, C sharp, A for 2 beats, because it's a half note, and then E for a quarter note, 1 beat, C sharp for 3 beats, because that's what's written there, dude. That's how the song goes. That's why we're doing this, because that's how the song goes, man. Next, same thing happens from the beginning again. I mean, from here, this is like the same shape. This repeats right here. Same exact thing, and then it has a different phrase. So I'm just gonna go to the part where it does that, this, because the same exact thing happens. So I'm control clicking, dragging from here to here, clicking over here, pasting, control V, so now I can just do this next part, okay? So then it goes, for measure 53, it goes B. Where are we at? B. B, okay, for 3 beats, and then C sharp, and then D, and then E, okay. Alright, and then we got another rehearsal mark here at measure 57, so click there, click the little triangle, the top left, go to time markers, add 1, rehearsal C, okay. And then it does the same stuff from the beginning, let's, from rehearsal A at least, it goes, let's see. Yeah, it's the same exact thing, okay. It's the same exact thing. So I don't need to click it all in again. I can just copy paste from rehearsal A to rehearsal A repeat, and it should be the same thing, okay? So I'm just gonna go back to the beginning here, double click this rehearsal A, and the marker highlights the exact thing that I needed. So I'm gonna go here, click, paste, that should be all done, that's the whole song form there. So then you're gonna hear it and it sounds really boring because there's no harmonies happening here, it's just the melody lines. So I gotta next put in the bass line by just putting the roots of the chords that are happening, and then later after that just fill in the blanks like it's colored by numbers, man, because that's how it is, it's so easy. Oh my god, why did it slow down again? 180 here. If you ever see that your tempo goes back to like 130 for some reason, or some tempo that you didn't set it at, you can right click the tempo and say, wait, delete initial value, I think. But I'm gonna set it to 180 right now. I don't want to hear the whole thing without the bass, man, it's so boring. Let's go to the bass instrument and right click it and play piano roll, and then, see your markers carry over because they're on the same pattern, okay? Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to all that. I need to put in the bass bass lines now, so it's going to be a very boring bass line because it's not going to have any motion, because I'm just going to be putting, like, I'm not even going to bother with octaves, different octaves or anything right now. I'm just going to click the bass lines. So I'm going A for 3 beats, 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 A for 3 beats. Because that's how the song goes, apparently. Okay, so now we're at rehearsal A. I'm just going to put a D for 3 beats, then I'm going to put an F sharp for 3 beats, then I'm going to put a G for 3 beats, and then I'm going to put a G for 3 beats again because that chord carries over to the next measure. It doesn't repeat the same information, okay? So it's going D, F sharp, G, G. Then we're going A again because the next measure doesn't have a chord symbol on it. That doesn't mean don't play a chord, that just means carry over the previous one, okay? So A, and then we're going to D, and then D again because, okay, this time it repeats D because these are two different Ds, okay? This is D diminished, this is D major, okay? Next, this time it puts a D in parentheses because it's a new line and I guess it's a courtesy chord symbol for people who don't look ahead enough, I guess. I don't know, D again. F sharp. G for 3 beats. This one says G minor slash B flat with slash chords. The thing that's to the right of the slash is telling you what the bass note's supposed to be. So it's going to be B flat, okay? And then this one is also G slash something. The G slash A. A is the bass note. Okay, that doesn't mean that it's an A chord, that doesn't mean that it's a B flat chord. Like the thing on the left tells you what kind of chord root, what the root's supposed to be. This B flat and A is supposed to tell you that it's some kind of inversion, okay? Anyway, A again, and then D for 3 beats. And then the same thing happens here, so I'm going to double click it, because it's a repeat. So, clicking there, paste, same exact bass line, okay? And now we're at rehearsal B. Okay, so the reason that we just copy pasted is because this repeats. Okay, so now we're here. Who is texting me? Why are they texting me? Oh my god. Okay, anyway. We're at rehearsal B. We're doing G for 3 beats. And then G for 3 beats again because same chord from here to here, okay? And now we got D slash F sharp, so the F sharp's telling us that's the bass note. D is telling us what chord it's supposed to be. Gonna keep the F sharp in the bass here. Next measure is E for 3 beats, and then E for 3 beats again. Then it goes to D for 3 beats, and then 3 beats again. And then we're at this next line, so it's G for 3 beats, G for 3 beats again, F sharp for 3 beats, F sharp for 3 beats again, then E minor slash A, so A is in the bass, and A is in the bass again, and then A is in the bass again, and then A is in the bass again, and then we're at rehearsal C, and it's the same exact thing as rehearsal A, so I'm going to double clicking the time marker that I put there before, and then I'm going to paste it over here, and this should be correct unless I glanced over the chords too quickly, and maybe there's a difference that I don't notice. So D, D, F sharp, G, 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 A, D, 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 D. It's the same exact thing, okay? Not complicated. It's what people would call standard A, A form, I guess. But I don't know if that's the right amount of measures, though. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's whatever. I don't care about counting measures right now. Anyway, I've added bass line, I had the melody line, so let's just hear how that sounds now. instruments, right? But then the thing they said I was gonna do next was I was gonna fill in the blanks of the chords, right? But I'm gonna try to do the least amount for this right now. So like what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna see if the melody is playing a the root note or a third. I'm gonna I'm gonna compare what is happening here. So we have E in the melody, right? That is the fifth of A. So if I wanted to sound like the chord that it's supposed to be, I could just put a C sharp. I don't need to put the whole chord in the instrument that's called chords, okay? I'm just gonna put the missing thing into here. So in an A major chord, we got A, C sharp, E, right? Well, I already have A in the bass, because I just did that, and I have E in the melody, because that's what they wrote, right? So C sharp's missing. I'm just gonna put C sharp in here, so we got A, C sharp, E. That is what an A major chord is, right? And then I'm just gonna keep doing A, C sharp. I'm gonna not add the E here, even though it's the F sharp playing. I'm just gonna keep it, like, simple. Like, supposedly, in advanced music theory or whatever, or maybe even just basic music theory, like, the thing that you need to know is that if you have two notes happening, it kind of sounds like a chord, right? They would say it's an interval, but you just basically need the root and the third of the chord that it's supposed to be for it to sound like what it is, you know? So like if I do A and C sharp together, like these two together, that sounds like a major interval, right? But then your ear, if I add a third note, if I go A, C sharp, E, like, yeah, that is definitely a major chord, right? But then, here's the thing, like, if I take away that E again, we got this again, A, C sharp, A, C sharp, A, C sharp, right? If I go to, if I didn't have the A there, and I put C sharp and E, this does not sound like an A major chord anymore, because it doesn't have the root and the third, right? Like, it's illusions and stuff, man. I'm just gonna keep C sharps. That was not a good explanation. Let's see. C sharps. C sharps. I'm just gonna fill in the blanks. Just fill in the missing notes, okay? So, we are at rehearsal A, and our chord is D major, right? So, in the bass I have a D, and in the melody I have F sharp, A, F sharp. Like, if I just put F sharps in to the measure that it's supposed to be, I will already have the notes that are required. Like, I don't need to add a whole D and a whole F sharp and a whole A to make it sound like the thing it is, because they're already in there, okay? Like, the melody has them in there, okay? Anyway, next one, we got F sharp in the bass and a plus symbol. That means F sharp augmented. That means F sharp and A sharp and C double sharp. Yeah, it's a D and a B flat and a F sharp. But like the way that music theory works, the way that you're supposed to label these things is like you're supposed to have a letter, and then you skip a letter, and then a letter again, and then you skip a letter, and then a letter again. So you end up with like double sharps and double flats and stuff that are kind of ridiculous. But yeah, it's F sharp, A sharp, C double sharp for an F sharp augmented chord, okay? So the third of an F sharp augmented chord is A sharp. I'm just gonna keep that there. Okay? Like, I'm not gonna fill the whole chord in there every time, okay? So let's see, G, we're at G now, right here, and in the bass we have the root G, because that's how I wrote it in there, and then in the melody we have C sharp, B, and a D, so B is part of G, right? So, I'm just going to put a B also there. Like, we didn't need to put a B there because it was already in the melody, but I'm going to do it anyway, okay? Keep that B there, unless... Okay, the next measure, we have an E. In the bass we already have a G, so I'm just going to put GB. I'm not even gonna put the fifth in there. The fifth supposedly provides the least harmonic information. Like, you could just drop it out. They always just tell you just drop out the fifth, man. It's not important. The bass player's already playing it, going like boom, 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 boom. You know, like, you don't need to do it. You don't need to have it in there. Okay. Anyway, here we got our first seventh chord, and with those, supposedly, you need to have the root, the third, and the seventh in it, so that you can hear what kind of chord it is, or else it's not going to sound right. So let's see, we have A, and we have, in the melody, we have D, C sharp, and G. In a 7 chord, we should have A, C sharp, E, G, right? We can leave out the E, and we can drop out the A again. And so now we're left with the third and the fifth, and, or sorry, third and the seventh. Yeah, so in this case, I don't know, should I have 2 notes here, or should I just use one of them? Let's see. Maybe I could do like this. Nah, it already hits the G in the melody, so I don't even need to put the G in there. I'm just gonna put the third again, because right here, I have A, C sharp, D. D is not part of the chord, but it's part of the melody, so it's fine. And then we got C sharp here. This just sounds like an A major third. Like, it's not even a major chord here. This has the root, the third, and the seventh, so it sounds like a dominant chord already, okay? I'm not gonna put the fifth in there. Forget the fifth. Here, next chord, we got D diminished, because there's a little degree symbol next to it. D diminished. So in a D diminished chord, we have D, F, A flat, right? But let's see what the melody already has. The melody has B. Yeah, we don't have any B's in here. What's going on with that? That's B, F, and B, okay? So I just need to put the F in there. What is going on? Well, in this case, since it's diminished, it's got a diminished fifth in it. That's kind of important to have in there. I think maybe in this case, since we already have D in the bass, if I don't put the fifth in there, it's not going to sound diminished, man. Like, we already, it should probably go for the fifth. Let's see. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright. D, again, but this time it's D major, so D, F sharp. That's a weird interval there, though. Maybe I should just... Huh? That's fine. I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's some weird voice leading, though. Yeah, that's not good. I think that should go up to here. But then, in this case, we already have an A here. We already have an A, and we have a D, and we don't have an F sharp to tell us that's major, dude. This is putting me in a situation that I don't like, man. Let's see. What's going on? How about I just put the whole tritone in there, man? It doesn't matter. We have a ton of voices to work with, man. So D, F, A flat, okay? A flat. And then that goes to D major. What happens if I just don't put the fifth in there? That's fine. That's fine. That's fine, dude. Okay, next measure. We got D major again. So we got D in the bass. We got F sharps in the melody. We also got A's. Let's just keep this F sharp here, I guess. Next next, we got F sharp augmented again. So F sharp in the bass. And what? Yeah, A sharp and C double sharp. What did I do last time? Maybe I should just keep it going with the same note. Where are we at? Big jump. Maybe I should just make this one jump down to this F sharp down here. And then this one go to the here. Yeah, that makes more sense, I guess. So that's fine. We're at G. And we got G in the bass. And we got B in the melody. And we got D in the melody again. So, let's just put B. Because we want the third. Not the fifth right now. And then it says G minus. G minor over B flat. So, we have B flat in the bass. We need to have the G somewhere. We have G somewhere. So, how about D? We don't have a fifth here. This is fine. That's fine. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not paying too much attention to voice leading. I'm just trying to find, like, the missing thingy, filling in the blanks, and not just, like, filling it entirely with everything that is missing. Because that would be boring. Anyway, A7. So we gotta have the third and the fifth. So the third and the fifth are C sharp. Sorry, the third and the seventh are C sharp and G. This one's closer, so I feel like I should go to here instead, man. But what are we missing? We got G, F sharp. We have G and F sharp. And A. We don't have a C sharp yet, so yeah, C sharp. Wait, what is going on? Did I skip something? Yeah. I'm at G over A. Why is there a G over A? What kind of chord is that supposed to be? G, B, D, A. What the hell? That doesn't sound right. That doesn't seem like the right chord, man. Maybe. It's fine. I'm just gonna put a G. Next, A7. Put a C sharp in there, dude. Yeah. It sounds like it wants to go up, dude. But this one's already going up, and that's like already an octave, dude. Man, I'm putting myself in a situation again, man. This is going D, and this is also D, and that's also D, dude. But then this, like, maybe I should just go to G, and then go down to this. Yeah, that's fine. And then move this down an octave so that we're not stuck up there. If I just followed them the chords willy-nilly, then it would see it wouldn't sound like an arrange, it would just be like, yep, that's what the song is, sure is. I don't know, man. In this case, like, I'm trying to have different lines going on at once, but I might be doing it wrong anyway, so I don't know. Let's listen to how this sounds. Okay, this ridiculous here. This should have some motion, like by changing octaves, maybe. Oh, something's off by like what is going on there? It didn't pace where I needed it to be. Okay, come on. Shift over a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, it's better. Alright, continuing. Rehearsal B. We are at G major. We have a G in the bass, and we have a D, so we just need to fill in a B somewhere. B. Right. major happens for two chords. Maybe we shouldn't carry the same note. Maybe we could. It's fine. We'll see. That's D over F sharp. So do we have any D's in here? Yeah, we have D here, but that's in the second measure. So maybe we could put a. We got F sharp and A. We need a D here, and then the next one is we could probably put an A. Yeah. D. Yeah. That sounds weird. That doesn't sound right, dude. How about A F sharp? That doesn't sound right either, man. What the heck? Maybe move this down an octave also, dude. Nah. D F sharp. D F sharp, and that's fine. Wait, is that right though? That's doing the same exact thing as the other thing above that. That's just octaves, man. That sucks. That's not it. Just carry this over, dude. Sure. Alright, next. E minor. We should have an E and a G and a B. We have an E and an A and a D and an E. We don't have a G. Let's put a G in there. G and then we got D triangle 7. That means D major 7. So D in the bass. And then we should have an F sharp and an A and a C sharp. But we have A, E, and C sharp. The third is F sharp, and that's really close to this one. I'm just going to step down to it, and then we got C sharp somewhere, right? C sharp here, that's fine. Let's see. And then we got G again, so G and D and A. We should probably have a B in there somewhere. Yeah. I think if we're just going to do the same thing as before, just two of these same things stepping down. Then it changes to E minor over A, so we should have an E in there, I guess. Okay, but now this voice is crossing over this one, sort of, even though it's not happening at the same time. I should probably move it down here, maybe. Probably. Okay, why does it sound like that? What's up with that? E, G. Let's have a G. This chord does not sound right because it's E over A, but there's no E in it yet, and there's, again, like, the A's in the bass. This should have an E and a G in it at least. But that sounded weird when I went there. How about this E? I don't know, man. Come on. This song is putting me in a situation that I don't want to be in, man. E, G, B, A. Why is there an A there? Like, let's have a B in there then. E, G, B. Yeah, okay. E over A, that makes no sense. What is going on there? What is with that chord? It's E, G, B, with an A here? Like, what's up with that? I don't believe it. Let's just have B and G, or G and B. Whoa. Next chord is A, C sharp, E. It's just A major, but C sharp. Alright. Then it goes to E minor 7 over A again, so E. I need to have an E and a G and a D somewhere in there, man. I have D in the melody, so. Huh? I guess. What the heck? That sounds so weird. I don't know. Maybe let's just have this back and forth thingy. Sure. Whatever. fucking serious, dude. It's just a bunch of noise, man. Anyway, I'm gonna copy paste this again because it's the same exact thing as before. Wow. Okay. I don't know, something about this section here sounds weird. Okay, well that's how you do the bare minimum to make it sound like the thing that it's supposed to be. You gotta have the bass notes and the melody notes and some thirds in there. And then if you wanted to do more with it, then just like put the sevenths and the arpeggiations and the octaves and the rhythms and stuff. Alright, that's basically the gist of it. This is like tutorial over, it's done, maybe. But also, I kind of want to keep going, but I feel like I'm going to go out of scope and it's going to be making the video too long, and people are going to be like, why is this video so long? I'm not going to watch all that. I don't know. Something has to be done with the intro. It does not sound like a waltz at this point. So I'm just gonna turn the bass notes like, I'm gonna do maybe root and fifth movement, I guess. Or maybe octaves.